a man a lot of us on this table know quite well, former Ogun State Commissioner for Sports, Bukola Olopade, has been appointed as the Director General for the new National Sports Commission. Olopade, who is basically is going to begin he's been the operator, I beg your pardon, behind the highly successful Lagos City Marathon, which is sponsored by a bank, becomes the second official that is known of the newly constituted NSC. Of course, we know who the chairman is. That Shehu Diko is not joined by Bukola Olopade, and he's also the chairman. I'm talking about Olopade himself. He's also the chairman of the Local Organizing Committee for the upcoming National Sports Festival that will be hosted by his home state, Ogun State. And of course, this announcement was made yesterday by the federal government. Now, let me start with you, Tony. Bukola Olopade is a person that you know very, very well. Yeah. During his time as Commissioner for Sports in Ogun State, you've had countless times where you interacted with him, and even afterwards. Is this the proverbial square peg in a square hole?
Yeah, it fits. It's a good fit for the National Sports Commission. He's pretty experienced in sports. And is also very well grounded in his involvement with the private sector. He's been involved in a lot of private initiatives, and he's been driving sports at different levels. At one time, it was wheelchair basketball, and he did a lot, brought it to prominence, got a lot of corporate sponsors when he was chairman of wheelchair basketball. He's also been involved with the National Sports Festival, first in 2006 Gateway Games, when he was there as a special advisor to the governor of Ogun State at that time. That's Governor Gbenga Daniel. And then he became the sports commissioner. And then he's been involved with local football, domestic football. He has a club that he had a club that played in the NNL. He was also on the board of the Nigerian National League NNL as, I think, chief executive officer at some point. So he's pretty experienced.
You just pretty much laid out his CV.
Yeah.
And he also runs a very successful private sports marketing firm as well.
And he's been involved lately in the Lagos City Marathon, in a lot of
marathons as well,
road races.
I think the Abeokuta Marathon as well, the Abuja Marathon.
Over Nigeria.
There's almost no marathon, but that doesn't have any
in Enugu, in Abuja, everywhere. If there's a road race, a marathon, if you check well, you will find his name
apart
somewhere.
From the Okpakpa road race.
Apart from the Okpakpa road race. So it's grounded, he understands the terrain, and it's a good fit. We've always spoken about who will be an ideal DG to Shehu Diko as chairman. And I think this is a good fit. The two of them know themselves quite well, and they are very well grounded in the private sector. So this is a good fit, but we hope that they get some other people on board, professionals, efficient people who will also help them to drive the dream. But I think it's a good fit. I wish him the best of luck. As I told him, and as I've told Shehu Diko as well, a lot of Nigerians have high hopes, high expectations, from the two of them. And they cannot afford to fail us, People have been saying, anytime there's an appointment of a sports minister or anything, they say, we want somebody who knows sports, who is into sports.
Well, it doesn't always work out that way. Remember the former professor of sports?
That's what I'm saying. So I have now told them that, look, people have been saying, we want sports people, now we have sports people. And the people have been saying, we want National Sports Commission, we want National Sports Commission.
Now we have National
Sports Commission.
Okay.
So you guys have got to deliver. You've got to succeed and succeed real big.
Okay. Wale, your thoughts? Is this proper appointment? A lot of people have said Shehu Diko is a bit reserved, quiet, prefers behind the scenes. Ozogula, as a lot of people know him as he's a domineering figure, has a big presence. He's a forceful person. He's the yin to his yang, basically. And this is on paper.
To him.
No.
As he is to you.
No, that's he is to you. So maybe And the thing about it is, a lot of people are hoping that this is the right. On paper, it's almost like when you look at the football formation. On paper, they look like too good to beat, but there's theory and there's practice.
This is basically a Wizkid and Davido, honestly. That's the dynamics But the
It's
question
interesting you should use that analogy. I thought both of them are rivals. Whiskey and Davido are rivals.
Yeah,
now, Olopade and Olopade and...
exactly.
But they like collaboration.
No, never. They've never had a song together. So they are rivals.
But what I see here is I like the work dynamics. I think that the power dynamics is really good. You talked about how, Olopade is the macho man. Diko is a
bit more forceful, a bit more...
I won't use the word forceful though, but I mean, if he wants to drive his point, he has a way of... And I mean...
Wale is forceful.
Okay, fine.
Toy can remember a particular incident. Remember we were on TV one year, many years ago, where I was on set with you. I was talking about, not talking down on Olopade, but I was saying maybe he's not the right man for the job. He's not this, he's not that. By the time we got out of the studio, Olopade was outside waiting for us in his pajamas. And he was you were saying this. Let me educate you. Let me educate you, young man. So
that's forceful.
He's forceful.
Yeah. Anyways, he drove on a very important point. And the key thing here is the nexus he has with private sector. And that is what Nigerian sports really need. You need the buy-in of private Nigeria, a lot of that. And I think that Olopade and Diko can help out with that. And I think for the first time in recent history, we are having proper guys running our sports. Like I said, in modern history, in recent history. Before it's been, not plug and play. It's been square pegs in round holes. But Olopade and Diko really fit in well. And I like the fact that these are guys who have done well in everything that they've done.
Yeah.
They have
Government,
a fantastic track record.
Private sector?
Yeah, they've got a fantastic... I mean, look at the Lagos City Marathon. I think it's close to a gold label status.
Yeah.
It's just maybe 1 or 2 more editions and it gets... And that's all thanks to what he has been able to do with the Lagos City Marathon. And it's so good for him that any new marathon that comes to town right now in Nigeria, you need the imprint.
Yeah.
Of his
because the man has the blueprint
he
of how
has the
to...
blueprint.
100%.
So if you can have that and just try to replay that or try to give us that as far as the Nigerian sports
national scale,
I would be very, very, very much happy. So, and the fact that he's also a grassroots guy. He's a proper...
He's hands-on.
Yes, he's a proper grassroots guy. That alone gives me a lot of joy. And I think that I might not be a fan of this government, but these appointments, as far as sports concerned, as far as my own jurisdiction is concerned...
On paper.
On paper, and even if you really analyze it, I think we've got a winning ticket here. Yeah, we've got a winning ticket.
I have to ask your opinion as well. 2 men who have distinguished themselves in government and in the private sector as well. 2 men who understand sports from the very grassroots up on to the corporate boardrooms as well. Bright future for Nigerian sports. Excellent appointment.
Yeah, definitely. I think for those who are not sport lovers or who don't know so much about, the intricacies in the Nigerian sporting industry, I think, first of all, from a political standpoint, this is correct, first of all, because they do have prior experience in politics. They were proven and successful. Now, from the sporting angle as well, both men very well known. We know how much a lot of people clamored for Diko to have been, the last NFF president. Now we take a look at the way things have turned out. This is life. Now he has a much better position. He's in a much stronger position to actually,
enforce policy
and put his own values and imprint on it. I mean, just imagine if he found a way to try and lobby his way to become NFF president. Maybe he will not be in this position today. And then talking about, the dynamics in terms of how they can actually execute and do a very good job. What I love the most is that both of them are well-grounded, not just in the political sector, but also in the private sector. We do know that we face a lot of issues when it comes to funding, And I know that the fact that they've got good ground in the private sector, they will find a way to get these individuals on board to try and help us when it comes to certain issues, especially where we are lacking, especially the multi-sport tournaments, talking about the Olympics, for example. Also, I think in terms of the broad aspect of developing sports, I think those are 2 good individuals that would help. Diko's main love is football. We know football is sorted. With Olopade, we know that
he's with wheelchair basketball as well. So
and this guy is a sports marketing guru.
And both of them, they love sports. That's the most important thing for me. In recent years, that hasn't been the case. One thing Wale said is, for now, as we have these 2 individuals, it's not just about, people who are in sports, the right people. So hopefully, they will be successful.
Tori, I need to ask you this question. Now, we seem to, the board is beginning to take shape, so to speak. We still don't know who the rest of the board members are going to be, but from some documents I've seen, it might be a board as large as 22 persons. So we now know the chairman, we now know the director general, but if we were to set an agenda for Bukola Olopade, what would be his key KPIs, his key performance in this, his deliverables, so to speak?
Yeah, the NSA document is still being tweaked, and
fine-tuned.
Some adjustments are still being made. So we'll wait for it because that's really going to be the driving force. But immediately, one of the first things, definitely as a DG, Olopade is supposed to be in charge of the day-to-day running of the commission.
Yeah.
The staff, what they're going to be doing, is supposed to derive an action plan from the board, the chairman and the directors, depending on whatever the structure is. When the final document is out, is supposed to derive his power from that and derive his direction from that and execute on a day-to-day basis, like the chief executive officer, like the secretary of EFCC and all of those stuff. So that is key. But you know, the first responsibility of the National Sports Commission, as we highlighted when it was announced that it was returning and the ministry was being scrapped, is funding. You know, being able to, we have a big problem with funding. Not enough money coming late, money training grants coming in the middle of a competition and all of that. So funding
also misappropriation as well.
Funding, mismanagement of funds and all of that. So that's key. Corporate governance. You remember Emeka Nyadike, when we had him on the show and he was talking about what do we need to do? Corporate governance, eradicating all issues
bottlenecks,
bottlenecks, all issues of conflict of interest, all issues of lack of transparency,
unnecessary bureaucracy, red tape,
and being able to quickly move to get the impact felt at the grassroots. That's very key. So once we're able to sort out that issue of funding, sort out the issue of corporate governance, and then get capable guys around you to head the different sections of the commission and drive your impact to the grassroots in terms of discovery of athletes, grassroots sports, exposure, and all of that, you would have made that kind of impact because talents abound. What we do not have is that structure to help us identify bring them from when they are discovered to when they are able to get
I worry for corporate governance, though. I worry for that. On that factor, it is going to be a very difficult thing to deal with because of the composition or the complexion of the country, the complexion even of the sports infrastructure.
A lot of people need to be carried along.
Exactly.
National interest and also what's our quota system and national.
So when it comes to corporate governance, it is going to be an extreme sport for us to be able to adhere to that. But when it comes, I agree with you on grassroots. I think it's important that the Sports Commission is being felt in
every nook and cranny
in the country. Very much important.
Because what then is the main purpose if they've not touched every sector? This is what we need from them now.
I totally agree. Well, we'll be wishing Bukola Olopade and Shehu Diko all the very best as they seek to navigate the pretty much turbulent waters of Nigerian sport, and hopefully they can chart a new direction that will bring true development and, of course, success to Nigeria's sporting ambitions.